Alright class, let's review. Let's review some keywords that we left off with our mixed economies lesson earlier. First word is scarcity. Scarcity is a situation that exists when there are not enough resources to meet human wants. That's our first key review word that we talked about. Another thing is, again, economics. It's a study of how individuals and society satisfy their unlimited wants with limited resources. Alright, so we've talked about that. Let's talk about some other keywords we talked about. First, let's talk about producers. Producers is a vocabulary word. Remember, producers produce goods or products. Not only so we have producers, we have products. Another key phrase we need to know is consumers. Consumers consume products or goods. So remember, we're talking about mixed economies. Right? So we're talking about market economies. And remember, in a market economy, the consumer controls everything. The specific products the consumer buys, the producer tries to make. So as a result, the consumer has all the power. So one other thing I wanted to mention, some other key phrases that we didn't get to mention yet, are services. Not only in market economies and other economies are goods purchased, but services are purchased as well. So take a guess, what service is going on here? Well, you're probably thinking, this guy's a tailor. This guy is checking out this guy's suit. Yep, you're right. Men's Warehouse is probably known for that. Over on the right here, we have a guy who's offering service to a person buying paint. So potentially places that offer that service might be Blaine's Farm and Fleet here in Wisconsin, Walmart, all sorts of places might be providing the service. So those are some of the vocabulary words I wanted to mention. Some other vocabulary words I want to mention that connect to our dodgeball game are factors of production. So first, land, also known as raw materials or natural resources. Then you have labor, another factor of production. Then we have capital. Then we have entrepreneurship. These are all 4 factors of production, and they're in our dodgeball game. So let's think this through. First, let's look at our product, and let's think about the 4 factors of production. So this knife has all 4 factors of production that were required to make it. So let's think about the first one, land, natural resources. The natural resources that probably are used to make this are metal, plastic maybe, rubber for the handle. And so that would be our land. Now the second part would be labor. And so you can see here, we have this little guy here. He's doing some labor. Not only is labor in this picture, we have some natural resources being used here, and we're having some capital being used here. We have the natural resources going in, and on the way out, you get maybe sheets of metal. So this is just trying to show and help you think through the factors of production. Another factor of production would be, again, the capital. And so here we have the machines. Maybe the raw sheets of metal are coming through and being stamped into the shape of the hatchet or whatever that knife was. And of course we have a little bit of labor going on here with that guy there. And so these machines are the capital being used to make our hatchet. Along with physical capital, there's intellectual capital, and hopefully that's what you're doing right now. You're expanding your mind, and you're getting more intellectual capital, and someday you'll produce products with that intellectual capital. So just like machine capital makes products and services, so too hopefully one day your mental capital will be used to make products and services. So One of the other factors of production I wanted to show here is just made a picture representing some labor. These guys are sharpening up the blade or whatever, and ta-da, we have our final product. So remember, there's a couple of things. Remember scarcity, economics, producer, consumer, products. Remember the factors of production involved in making a product, which are land, labor, capital, and last but not least, entrepreneurship. So what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is this guy here. He's going to take a risk. That's what entrepreneurship. This guy is going to jump, take a risk, and go open a business and sell these hatchets somewhere. So again, entrepreneurship is another part of our factors of production. So I want to have you think this through some more. We would call the knife good or product. We would call the machine capital. When it came to our dodgeball game, I want to make you think through some things here. Where in the dodgeball game would there be products? Hopefully you're thinking somewhere around the bases. Where would the natural resources be? The land. The land would be out on the court somewhere. Where would the labor be? The labor would be when the harvesters are bringing the balls to the bins, and when people are taking the balls from the bins to the bases. So that would be the labor part. And then land, labor, capital. Now, if we didn't really make capital in the game of dodgeball, if we would, we could probably put it somewhere in here. I could have made you like run over a ladder or something like that and then go make guns or butter. But I didn't do that because that would have been dangerous or something. But either way, capital could be put in here, but it's not. And the last one was entrepreneurship, and there was definitely probably some entrepreneurship, some risks being taken in the game. So yeah, so that's some ways to think about the game, and to think about our vocabulary words. So another thought I wanted you to think about is who would be the consumers of butter in this game? Hopefully you're thinking the consumers of butter would be the dead people, right? They're the ones consuming the product. Who would be the consumers of guns in the traditional economy? So hopefully you're thinking the consumers of guns in the traditional economy would be the men who are attacking. Another thought, another question to make you think through this is these vocabulary words and these terms. Who would be the producers of butter in the traditional economy? Well, in a traditional economy, it might be the women, right? Another question to make you think this through is where in the game would the producing be done? If you're thinking about where in the game producing would be done, hopefully you'd be thinking about where the bases are. That's where the producing is being done. It's being done from the bins to the bases. Now think about the factors of production. Again, what did the dodgeball symbolize on the ground? Hopefully you're thinking land or raw materials. Another question, what did the harvesters running to find balls and people running from the bins to the bases represent? Hopefully you're thinking labor. And then when you guys vote in the market economy, what vocabulary word from chapter 2 might that be talking about? So take a moment, pause the video, go look through vocabulary words in chapter 2 and think about voting. Which of the vocabulary words for chapter 2 might represent voting? Now, the correct answer, what would the votes vocabulary word be? Would be consumer sovereignty, possibly. So, one more question for you, in regards to the dodgeball game and some things we're learning. We've also been learning recently about the circular flow model. So in this circular flow diagram I have here, we have the factor market, we have the product market, and we have the households and businesses. Where in the dodgeball game do you think is the factor market? Where on the court would there be the factor market? So if you think about it, the factor market is where all the land and labor and natural resources are coming together. So that symbolically could represent our bin, where all the balls are being dropped. And the product market might be the bases, where people are consuming and buying the products. And of course, the businesses and households would just be like the people running around in the dodgeball game. So hopefully the dodgeball game and all these vocabulary words hopefully help stick them in your memory.